Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tarda Zone. Silly Billy Who fans being toxic again. And yes, we do have to do another stream on this because there are just some people in the fandom that won't let me and others just do our thing on Twitter. They are going out and accusing us of all sorts of stuff. So I have a few screenshots to show you all. Just before we do start the stream, because I know some of these little muppets are going to be watching. Don't worry, I have actually censored your name because I know some of you will be crying after the fact that I've done this stream. The only name that's going to be mentioned actually here is Mr. Tardis Reviews. So Mr. Tardis Reviews has decided to have a go at me on Twitter because I had a go at him because he said that Big Finish will probably send him some audios, but he's not going to review it because your man, that's the writer, is a transphobe. So I literally called him out and called him an intolerant person. He didn't like that. And then he started bringing up the China stuff again because, that's the only thing that he has against. I throw the China stuff at me. Number one, okay, Mr. Tardis, would you like to tell your supporters just to remind them that a few years back, you went and accused a YouTuber called Sargon of some awful, awful things. You said, this is what you said. You said that he said that all feminists deserve to be the R word, right? Rhymes with grape, right? That's what you said. Now, when you did your apology, you even admit in your apology that you didn't even watch the full stream. So when you're coming at me with the China accusation, this is what I'll say to you. You're a bloody idiot, right? The video that has been thrown up over these last couple of years was taken out of context. You didn't watch the full stream. Because if you had to watch the full stream, you would have heard in that very same stream that I backtracked very quickly and apologized. I was upset because my wife was in hospital, thanks to you and others who are constantly bullying me and sending people their way, right? And my wife ended up in hospital. And this was during the start of the pandemic, by the way, right? So everything was taken out of context. But here's the point I've got to you, Mr. Tardis, right? First of all, you coward, unblock me, right? Because you seem to be hiding behind this block thing. Unblock me and have a discussion with me. Talk to me. But you won't because you're a coward. But I just want to say something. If you were able to move on from that after your pathetic apology, which was a pathetic apology, and the thing about it is you can't deny it because people, see, this is the great thing about social media. Even though apparently that apology that he threw up, he ended up removing because he didn't want any trace of it, people have actually, screenshotted and followed this whole story over the years. So there's plenty of information. If you actually write his name up on Google, there's plenty of threads, people talking about Mr. Tardis and how he has done this before. Right? How he has done this before. Now, he can't deny this because I have the screenshots of his apology. Right? He can't deny it because I have the screenshots of his apology. He threw the apology up on Facebook. Right? But here's my point, Mr. Tardis. Right? If you were able to move on from that, yeah, and nobody's bat an eyelid, well then how come I can't move on from comments that I made that have been taken out of context? And also, you never watched the stream because if you did, you wouldn't be talking the shit that you're talking, right? So my comments were taken out of context, yeah? But you're able to move on after saying all the horrible things that you've said over the years, including the stuff that you've said about me, Baldstrick, and others in this fandom, accusing us of being white supremacists, right? So if you're able to move on from saying awful things like you did, accusing someone of saying that all feminists deserve to be great, right? I'm saying great, but you take away the G, folks, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. I can't say it on, right? But if you were able to move on from that, right, and get on with your life, why can't I get on with my life, even though what I said was less bloody awful than what you said? I even backtracked and apologized and told people that I was very upset, and I explained the whole situation. You have taken everything out of context. and you continue to take everything out of context, you're a coward. I've asked you several times over the years to unblock me and let's have a conversation, but you won't even do that. So I'll tell you what, shut up talking about me, okay? And another thing, just to let you know, because there's this conception that you went and you've told everybody that I'm going and searching for your tweets under alt accounts. I have two accounts only. The Tarda Zone, the original one, and the Tarda Zone 2, which is a backup account just in case idiots like you decide that you're going to try take down the accounts, right? I don't have any other alt accounts, right? I could tell you now, right? And hopefully the person that actually sends them to me will be in the chat and will be able to tell you. But I get sent these screenshots. If you actually look up on my Twitter account, I've actually made it clear over these past couple of months that I don't want people sending me screenshots. I don't go hunting for your screenshots because you're a nobody, okay? I don't waste my time on nobodies, right? But you keep, for some weird reason, bringing my name into stuff, right? Because you didn't like being called out, right? The fact of the matter is, right, this is why I called you out. Even if it is the case and you think that the writer of these Big Finish audios is transphobe and a bigot and all of that, fine, fair enough, but keep your mouth shut about it. Right? Don't be going into me, they'll probably send me these copies, but I'm not going to review it. Like, who the hell do you think you are? Who the hell do you think you are? Seriously. You've got this big ego, right? Listen, mate, I told you from day one, right? You will never, ever get the better of me, right? You could say all the things you want about me. I'm still here. I'm still here, right? You've accused me of all sorts of stuff, right? How come my Twitter account is how come my Twitter account's not suspended? How come my YouTube channel has never been taken down? Because the things that you've accused me of are untrue. Untrue. The fact of the matter is you decided to sit on the fence during this last 5 years, right? That was your decision, right? I think you're a coward for that anyway. Someone that claims to love Doctor Who, but you stood by and watched it being destroyed, right? Now, you chose to be the coward. You chose to sit on the fence. But I wasn't going to choose that route, right? And I'm entitled to have my opinions about this era of Doctor Who. And I don't give two flying craps whether you like or anybody else out there likes my opinions or not. So I don't care, right? Just get on with it and do your own thing. Don't be bringing my name into things, right? Simple as that. Every day there's someone shit talking me on that platform, right? And I haven't even opened my mouth over the last couple of months, but you are still coming at me. Have you not learned your lesson? Don't come at me. It'll end badly for you. Okay? And what I mean by it'll end badly for you, people will see and I'll expose how bad you actually are, right? And people are starting to turn on you, Mr. TARDIS. We seen it the other day, right? So you cannot afford, and I know why you're calling me out now. The reason why you're calling me out now is because you're trying to salvage something from what happened the last couple of weeks when you were called out by the LGBTQ plus community when you went and you made those comments about Disney and how they actually have been doing a great job, but there's still room for improvement. But of course, the fans in the fandom didn't agree with you and you got a bit of a backlash. Now this is your way, right? It's very typical of cowards like you. Yeah, any opportunity you get to call someone else out to make yourself look good, you're going to do it. But don't be using me to do it. Don't be using me to do it, right? Now, as I said, you coward, right? Unblock, right? Let's have a conversation. Yeah? Let's have a conversation. Because I tell you one thing, I'm not going to let this thing go about what you said about Sargon. I'm going to keep it going until people actually see this, right? And it takes hold, because I want to make sure that people know what you're really like. Don't play with me, right? Because this is the adult playground. This is not for kids. All right. So if you're going to come after me, make sure that you've got the conviction to go through with it, because I certainly have. There's I for Years have been calling for you to unblock me so we can have a conversation, but you choose not to. You hide behind your block button, you coward, right? And here's the thing: you're telling everybody, "Well, I have my account privated," but you've blocked me. You blocked me. It doesn't matter. Fair enough. I don't follow you, so I don't see your tweets. But you blocked me. You blocked me because it gave you the opportunity to go and slander me for the last few years without any consequence. Without any consequence. And by the way, if I truly did have alt accounts like you're actually saying, well, I would have used those accounts to go in and actually report every single tweet where you went and you called me, Ballstreck, Gary, and others white supremacists, right? But I haven't, because I don't bother with losers. As I said, you're a nobody to me, right? You're nobody to me. You're a big YouTuber and you're punching down. That just goes to show you how pathetic you are, right? You won't have a conversation. Even people on your own side have said, unblock them and have a conversation and wipe the floor with them. If you're so confident, you use your side so confident that you could actually take me on in the debate, go ahead, right? Because the difference between me and other people in this fandom is I can actually hold me own. Yeah? You don't scare me, none of yous do. None of yous do. So unblock me, let's have a conversation. If not, keep my name out of your dirty mouth, right? Because anybody that goes around and says the things that you have said over the years, especially that comment about feminists, accuses someone, is an absolute scumbag, in my opinion. You talk about women's rights and then you go and you accuse someone of that and you said that and then you admitted that you didn't even watch the video and you were tired. You start making up all these excuses in your pathetic little apology, right? You owe me an apology, right? You owe Gary an apology. You owe Ballstreck an apology. You owe us all an apology, right? So apologize or shut up. Don't bring my name into anything again, all right? Just because I called you out for your stupidity, right? This is the problem with you people, right? Is that you want to ruin everything for everybody else because you have these views, skewed views, by the way. They're skewed, right? The left are worse than the bad Germans in the 1930s. These are worse, right? Because you are intolerant. You won't let anybody have an opinion. And if anybody does have a different opinion, oh, you're a right-wing racist white supremacist. That's what comes out your mouth. It's pathetic. You're pathetic. Right? Pathetic. Unbelievable that this man can go around and do hit pieces on everybody, right? And nobody bats an eyelid. But he'll be crying now after I've done this video. Watch. He'll be going to his supporters. Oh, no, it's picking on me. Well, don't come after me then. Don't go around saying stupid stuff that's been taken out of context without knowing the full. But see, that's your problem. That's your problem, just like the rest of them, right? You all jump the gun and jump down people's throats without even knowing all the relevant information, right? You hook onto one thing. Oh, no, said bad things about China. But you didn't watch the video. Everybody that's in this chat now watched that stream, right? If everybody in this chat thought I was a racist, I wouldn't have a channel. I'm not a racist. I'm far from it, actually. No, it's actually funny, man. But anyway, Teddy's fine. He's sitting here beside me, piled under all the blankets this time. So yeah. So what we'll do now is we'll get to the other tweets. Now, as I said, because one particular person who's gone around, we've had a run-in with this fella over the years. Lee has tried to, talk some sense into this guy and get this guy to talk to us and stuff like this. And he was, at one stage, going to bring Lee onto his channel, but then he was pressurized by a lot of people not to bring Lee on, and it never happened. But this fella has decided to attack fans again. And as I said, I said this to you a couple of weeks ago. I'm not letting this go. These people think that they could still go around, throw around on the same stupid fucking accusations all the time. Well, it's not going to happen on my watch. I told you, everybody's going to be called out now. And that includes the media. I've already done a video on the media and the toxicity of them. And I'm going to keep continuing to highlight people like you in the fandom. So I have this idiot's tweet censored because he's a big crybaby. And he'll go around and tell everybody that I'm bullying him, even though he has said stuff like this. Seeing some right-wing Doctor Who fans have been saying today, I hope Russell makes them cry. They absolutely deserve it. No wonder Russell is probably doing a parody of them. The way most of them treat people in this fandom is disgusting. Well, you cannot talk. You cannot talk. Because you have sent people my way and Lee's way, Ballstreck's way, with your retweets and tweets like this. You think that you're actually helping the fandom with stuff like this? I mean, how petty and pathetic are you that you're hoping that RTD flips this and starts taking the piss out of right wing? Well, let me just actually address that. Even if RTD does do that, right? We're not going to be crying because I'll tell you why, William. Right? The difference is that RTD can actually write stuff like that, unlike your man that is all praising Chris Chibnall. See, RTD will actually create an interesting story around this, whereas Chibs, if he was to do this, would just be hammering us across the head with right wing. Oh, look at the right wing, they're all a bunch, blah blah blah, the usual, right? So no, we're not worried at all because RTD's era was very political back in 2005. So we're not going to cry. We already know what we're going to expect from RTD. And after watching years and years, I finally got around to watching it. After watching years and years, and I've watched Queer as Folk as well, and I've watched some of RTD's other work, I can safely tell you that whatever RTD does on Doctor Who is going to be well written, and the characters are going to be absolutely superb because that's what I've seen while I've been watching most of his shows. The character development is off the charts. So no, we won't be crying. But the fact that you actually come out and say that just goes to show you how petty you are. This is the same guy, by the way, that was stealing my information on Doctor Who. He was calling me out on Twitter saying I was lying, and then a few days or a few weeks later, he was actually posting the stuff, reporting on the stuff that I was reporting on, right? And tried to make it out that he got it somewhere else, okay? But never proved where he got it, right? So this man has been taking the information for the last few years. And he wants to call fans out because he didn't like the fact that people didn't like Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall's writing. Isn't that sad? Isn't it? Anyway, as I said, I'm not going to bring his name into it because the little crybaby will start crying. But this is my favourite. This is my favourite one, right, that I got today. I got all these today, by the way, right? These were sent to me. See, this is the thing. People actually think, look, I will admit back in the early days, I would seek out people like Mr. TARDIS and stuff like that because of what they were doing in the fandom. But if he actually thinks that I'm wasting my time and energy going looking for his tweets, he's wrong. I get them sent to me by several people in the fandom. If it's not by people on Facebook and Messenger, it's from people on Twitter, right? I don't go searching for these. And I've even made it clear, right? And people in the chat will back me up on this. I've even made it clear that I don't want people sending me screenshots, right? Because it's a waste of energy. But what I've seen over the last couple of days, I can't stay silent anymore. You're not going to drag my name through the mud any longer. None of yous are, right? None of yous are. How fucking dare yous drag my name through the mud because you didn't like my opinions on a female doctor? I don't give a flying fuck. Jodie Whittaker was crap. End of story. Chris Chibnall's writing was absolutely dire. Now, if you support that and you think it was great, fair enough. I don't. And a lot of the fandom, and I would say 11 million people actually back me up on that, right? Because that's how many people left the show. Okay, so I'm on the right side of history here, and what pisses you off is that you are on the wrong side, and you know that it was a failure. But rather than admit it, you're throwing your toys out the pram, and you're coming after people like me. Well, how dare you? I'm not going to allow it anymore, right? And if you think that you're not going to be called out for it, you will. I said this year, if the media and these fans were going to start up again, I'd call them out. This is exactly what I've done. But this is my favourite, right? I've got this sent to me. And by the way, I got a horrible message as well, which I'll be reading out as well, which has a little bit of Irish racism in it and a slagging Ballstreck and his dog, right? But we'll get into that. But here's my favourite, right? Now, this is an account that's on Twitter, but they're also on Instagram. And what they do on Instagram is they take tweets off Twitter and throw them up on Instagram. So basically, they do fuck all. Basically, they're a bunch of lazy twats that don't actually do anything good. And all they do is they post up. And by the way, the tweets that they post up is quite funny because it's people that have bullied and harassed us that they put up. So they're on that side. They're kissing Mr. Carter's backside just like the rest of them. But this is my favourite. I think I speak for everyone when I say no zone. No one gives a crap about your sources. You claim that once that the BBC would stop using the TARDIS due to its relation to BLM. Now, this has been an ongoing thing with these fans, right? Saying, I find it quite startling that they only jump on me when the information that I've put out there hasn't quite come to fruition, right? But they never talk about the stuff that I've actually got right. Listen, I'm going to explain something to you here, right? I've got more of a hit rate than most YouTubers out there. I've got a better hit rate than Doomcock, without shadow of a doubt. And any other Doctor Who YouTuber out there that has done rumor and speculation, I have top tier, right? Okay, and this is not me being big-headed or me being delusional. It's a fact, right? Most of the stuff that I've put out has been spot on. There has been stuff that I've put out that hasn't, right? But again, people like this moron here don't know the difference between fact and speculation. What do I say at the start of every video, folks, and in the middle of every video and at the end of every video? Take this with a pinch of salt. I am not saying this is fact. This is rumor and speculation. What do you not understand? Right? But this account here has been stalking me and was actually sending me messages on Instagram asking me why I hated Jodie Whittaker. Right? So this account has been stalking me for the last couple of months. Right? And why? All because I didn't like Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. Like, I mean, that's what I mean. Look, they don't get it. They never will get it. At the end of the day, right? At the end of the day, you guys have been following me, some of you for 5 years. If I was a con artist, you wouldn't be here, right? If I didn't get anything right, you wouldn't be here. But you have been with me on this journey, and you know exactly what I've gotten right and what I've gotten wrong, right? I've never said that anything that I put out is fact, right? But then they go and tell everyone, oh, look what Noel's saying, it's fact. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Right? Just want to remind people that I was the very first channel to announce RTD was coming back. I was the very first channel to let you all know that David Tennant was returning. Right? I was the first channel that told you about the Sontarans. What else did we? The Weeping Angels. We reported on loads of stuff, right? Even the stuff that's going on right now. I told you about the fact of the spin-offs before anybody else, right? Because we even had guests on here that were giving us information. They had received information as well. If you remember, we've done some streams with other people that also had information that has also come to fruition. So again, You know, it's very funny to me that you pick up on the things that I've gotten wrong, but have never ever given me credit for the stuff that I have actually gotten right. Because you want to maintain this illusion that I'm toxic and I spread falsehoods. No, I don't spread falsehoods. I even told people to look out for the Mirror newspaper because that's where all the exclusives will be. And guess what? That's where all the exclusives have been. And how would I know that? Let me see. How would I know? Well, put two and two together, you bleeding morons. Right? There's a lot of stuff that I've said that has come true. As I said, I have probably, and this is not me bragging, this is a fact. I have more of a hit rate than most channels out there that do this kind of stuff. Right? It's because I have very good sources. Right? And the argument from the other side is, well, why would sources go to someone like No Sound? It's just a small little channel. Well, I remember other little channels out there that start doing this and then they ended up being big, and again they turned out that they were telling the truth. Sometimes these sources would rather go to channels like mine, smaller channels, rather than the big channels. Yet they want to get the information out there, but they know because I'm a smaller channel, and do you know what the funny thing about it is like twice over 5 years, BBC have actually taken down, and I've proved it to you, have actually taken down videos because of the rumor and speculation. Remember, I was the one that told you about the ending to Spyfall Part 1. Do you remember that? And the video was taken down by BBC, and I showed the screenshots. You know what the other side tried to say then? Oh, no Photoshop then. No Photoshop then. So then I did a video of showing the strike, right? And even when the video was done where I showed the strike, oh, no, Dan Ball can't be that. Oh, no, you did some mad CGI on the video. I told everybody that Sacha Dhawan was going to be revealed as the master. The plane was going to crash and the TARDIS was going to fly up beside the aeroplane, which happened to be the house. I was spot on. So I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, let's continue this because we're not finished. I've got more. So I saw this. So this was in response to Mr. TARDIS's tweets that he put up. I obviously did cover the other names there, but this was actually in the thread. So saying with the whipped up hatred towards Jodie Whittaker for calling her a failure to mocking her physical appearance, that amongst photocopying her face onto porn, launching racist attacks on Mandip and her husband. And let's not forget John White's conspiracy theory that suggested Mandip and Jodie were secretly a lesbian couple. Okay, that was you guys that were going around and saying that they were probably secretly in a relationship. I actually called it out and called it disgusting because she's a married woman with kids. Nobody ever on our side of the fandom or our side of the argument ever photocopied pictures or faces of Jodie Whittaker onto porn images. That was the other side. And you know why I know it was the other side? Because I was accused of doing the exact same thing to a girl in the fandom, and it turned out she was a lying sack of shit. Right? She even said that she went to the police. I've never had an officer at my door in the 5 bloody years. And then when she was called out and asked to show the copy of the report or the report number so we could all prove that she reported me, then all of a sudden she went quiet. It was your side of the fandom that did all of that with alt accounts, right? To try and smear our side of the argument. I know what tactics you use. We know what tactics you use. Secretly, yous are all the racists. This is why yous are all projecting. Yous have been projecting the last 5 years. We're not the racists. You're the racists. Sorry, but that's the truth. You're the racists. Right? You're the sexists. right? Jodie Whittaker failed because she wasn't the right actress for the role. I'm sorry if you don't agree with that opinion, but that is my opinion. You don't change gender swap the role after 50 odd years on a whim because you think it'd be a great political statement to make. You don't create shows that way. That's why a lot of the stuff in Hollywood is failing because the current creators of all these shows do not understand what fans actually want. Right, I've got another one. Anyway, so let's share this one. The amount of crybabying that'll be going on Twitter later on now for this video is going to be absolutely funny. So this gobshite here also sent me a private message, which is absolutely disgusting. But I will read this one that they threw up on their Twitter account. And again, this was in response to Mr. TARDIS reviews because, once he retweets something about someone, then, all of these little lunatics then go in and then they come to me and then start sending me private messages like I got this morning. And I threw one of those private messages actually up on Twitter to expose what was actually said. Bit of racism and stuff in there. You know what I mean? While accusing me of being a bigot. Fucking hypocrite. Anyway, I do love how he used one of my tweets to blame you as being the bad guy when Bowley lost his dog, when I never mentioned you at all, but rather used their own tactics against them. Am I proud for what I said? No. Do I take it back what I said to Bowley? Absolutely not. So the fact that you were going around, like most of the fandom going around with disgusting bestiality tweets, you don't actually take that back. Well, of course, that just goes to show what kind of person you are. And people have actually went into your account and seen the kind of stuff that you're liking, and it turns out you're a little bit of a pervert. So, I wouldn't be throwing shade at Ballstrick or me, for that matter, because you don't have a leg to stand on. These people are unbelievably funny. Yeah, well, I won't put the other message up because I haven't actually censored it, but I will read it out. I did throw it up on Twitter for everybody to see because they sent it to me on Twitter, so I posted it up on Twitter. So if you want to actually go and look at the actual tweet that I threw up, you can. But I'll read what was sent to me this morning. When I woke up, I received 3 messages off accounts that don't follow me because they had the message request. And of course, when I opened them, then I got the usual crap, usual nonsense that you get from these people. Unbelievable. So let's see. Right. So from the same account that I just showed you a screenshot of, this is the message that they actually sent to me. I love how you guys blame left-wing inclusive Whovians for people's tweets, especially like my tweets about how lucky Bowley's dog crossed the Rainbow Bridge and no longer has to face the insufferable wrath of their owner. If only we were so lucky to not hear their cancerous dribble, right? Now, before I go any further, the fact that you're bringing up about Ballstrick's dog who recently passed away just goes to show what kind of little scumbag you are. I could tell you that Ballstrick's dog was absolutely a happy dog, and she was lovely, right? And I find it quite pathetic that you are attacking his dog because you want to get a reaction. See, you want to get a reaction from him, but he's not going to react to it because he has people like me to do that for him, right? But That's what kind of person you are. You and the rest of them, that's exactly what you do, right? That is our MO. Anyway, let's read the rest of this. I'm sorry about the slow nature. It's just my phone is acting up a little bit, but just bear with me. I'm surprised they haven't actually blocked me, believe it or not. So let's be honest here. You hate that the world is changing, that the show's about an alien that can change genders. No, the Doctor is a little boy, and it was established. We do know that it is established that Time Lords can change gender if they want, but we already know from Stephen Moffat's story, Listen, that the Doctor was a little boy. Even in David Tennant's era, he talks about how he and the Master how he ran from the schism and he was a little boy. See you later, Matt. Have a good one. So so the show is about an alien that can change genders. That the Doctor having a vagina and a female voice is now canon. That the show is actually better off for the move and can have much more creative potential with the Timeless Child plotline, should RTD explore it. And that you were never a fan to begin with, no matter how many YouTube clips of Who quotes you bring to me to prove your fandom as means of justification for your bigotry. Listen, I'm watching this show since 1980 odd, right? You were probably a little fucking swimmer in your daddy's little sack. So don't be telling me that I'm not a fan of Doctor Who. I'm more of a fan than I am most of the little gobshites out there that come after me. Plus, all you really show in your seeding is the fact that Irish independence, here it is, that Irish independence probably wasn't the best idea with some spoiled potato still around. So you're actually saying in that tweet that it was all right for the British to murder us, to murder us out of extinction. So what you're basically saying is that we shouldn't have fought for independence because we're spoiled potatoes. Spoiled potatoes. So potatoes is in reference to, obviously, for anybody that doesn't know, and this is why it's racist. So potatoes are a staple in Ireland. As you know, we eat, potatoes go with it, right? So he's being racist there. So he's basically telling me that we were better off being under British rule, and the fact that we people were murdered. I remember 6 million of Irish people were displaced, by the way, during the famine when the Brits were starving us to death. 800 years, and he thinks it's all right. And then he finishes the tweet off by saying, "May you enjoy your cappuccino, wannabe Whovian." No, please don't think all of us British are like that. I don't. Listen. Irish and British people, relationship has improved over the last decades. I love UK. I love the people. I've nothing against them personally, but I do remember our troubled past, and it's right that we remember our troubled past. But I don't use that to attack any person from the UK and say, well, these are absolute bigots and for what you did to us. I don't do that. That's not my thing, right? You forgive me, forget. We've moved on as a people. We're more alike than we'd like to actually admit, believe it or not. But no, I don't think that and I want to make that clear. I don't. But I have to talk about the harsh reality, and the harsh reality is that this person here is being a racist towards my people because he didn't like the fact that I had some bad things to say about Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor. Now, I don't think that's acceptable, right? I don't think that's acceptable. They accuse me of all of this other stuff, but it's okay for them then to go around and call me. And by the way, it's not the first time that someone has slagged me off because I'm Irish. We've had people mock me voice in the past. We've had people call me a leprechaun, a paddy. I've been called all of the names that were used as slurs against Irish people over these last 5 years. Yeah, I'm the racist. Yeah, I'm the racist, apparently. You know, it's absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. But there you go. That's what I had to get. That's what I was on the receiving end of. And remember, I was also accused a few weeks ago, if you remember, by someone in the fandom. They accused me and others of grooming a YouTuber out there who actually turned their back on me and stabbed me in the back. You know, the stuff that's been said about me and others in this fandom over the last couple of weeks been absolutely disgusting. I mean, you know, the messages that I've been sent, I mean, I can't even show some of them, to be quite honest. Just dropping in. I've seen some stuff with the J-Bots are trying to cancel Trevor Bagsdale for Logan. Yeah, they've also mentioned your name as well, John. I just read something out there where you were being accused of saying that Jodie Whittaker and Mandip Gill were secretly in a lesbian relationship. You were accused by someone in the fandom of being a conspiracy theorist. So I brought that up as well because, you know, John doesn't need this shit right now. You know, as you all know, John has been telling his story on YouTube and Twitter. And for anybody that doesn't know, John is a victim of the lockdown. Unfortunately, John received the news that he has pancreatic cancer and doesn't have that long. And even in that time, since he made the announcement, I got a few messages and all, and I've seen some stuff say, you know, absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting stuff. And John, I just want to say personally, I just want to actually make this point. I know you and Gabby and everybody else have been doing streams, and I know you've been inviting people on, and I haven't been on yet. I will eventually come on. I just have to let you know something, though. You know, this whole thing with cancer gives me the willies. I've got to be honest, because most of my family have also passed away from cancer, and it just brought back, when you made your announcements, just brought back so many flashbacks and memories of watching loved ones, and it's fucking horrible. I have to be honest with you, John. I think you're absolutely brave. And I don't know if I could have the composure and the temperament that you have actually shown. You're amazing. And as I said, you know, we've had our ups and downs over the years, but the one thing I'm proud of, and I'll always be proud of, is the fact that in the early days, me and you teamed up and we exposed a lot of the people in this Doctor Who fandom when people wouldn't actually listen to us. And we did a lot of work and we exposed a lot of people, and it never, for a while there, we did make a little bit of an impact. We did make an impact. You've made an impact. You know, I want you to understand and know that you have. And I am honored to have gotten to know you. I really, really, seriously, man. I will come on one of those streams. I just need, it's not that I don't want to come on, it's just, you know, this whole topic, I'm even getting upset now. This whole topic of conversation is a bit of a, it's a tough one for me. And you know, I'm just fucking devastated for you, man. I'm devastated for you. You don't deserve it. You don't deserve it. I don't care what people say about you. You know, we've had our run-ins, but I have to be honest. All of that means fuck all. All of that means fuck all. You've done a lot of good in this fandom, and I hope you know that. I hope you know that because you have. You've made a real impact. And the other side can say it's negative. It's not. It's not negative. You, like everybody else, have shown what this fandom is like. And I'm forever grateful. And seriously, man, I just want to say again, I know we had a bit of a falling out. I know we've made up since, and I just want people to know we have. But I just want you to know that, you know, it was never, you know me, it was never, it was never anything out of malice or anything. We're just both very opinionated and very strong with our convictions, and sometimes we have clashed. But you know what? I have to say, it was great having you in our corner, working with us, and helping us expose this fandom. I just want you to know that you have had a positive impact, no matter what anybody else says out there. And I do know Noel Clark appreciates everything that you've done as well. Um, yeah, I know. I just don't. I mean, when I read that, I don't know if I could do that, John. And that's why I think you're so brave. I'd be fucking angry. I'd be angry. And you'd have every right to be angry. But you've chosen not to. You've chosen to, whatever time you've had remaining, to be positive. And I commend you for that. I really do. Listen, mate, I'll have you on, no problem. I mean, we're doing Friday night contact tonight. Me, Chris, and Lee. We've got a couple of topics to talk about. I don't know if you're actually into talking about pop culture now at this stage, but if you are, we're going to be talking a little bit about DC, Alec Baldwin. Um, we've got loads of stuff to talk about actually. So if you want to pop on tonight, we start at 9. If you want to pop on, you're more than welcome to come on, John. You know that. Just send me a message on Twitter, and I'll send you the link if you want to come on. You're more than welcome, man. I just want to make that clear, just in case if I haven't said that. Um, you know, because I have been watching the streams, I just haven't been able to, because I don't know what to say to you, man. I just don't know what to say. Anyway, you're very brave, you're very strong, and I'm so honoured to have gotten to know you. I know it hasn't always been great, but you know what? I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. Thank you. Thank you for everything. And thank you for working with me all of those years back exposing this fandom, because we did expose some people, John. And, you know, it's just a pity that a lot of the fandom out there didn't pick up on what we were reporting, because I tell you, I think if I had of, well, we tried so hard to get it public, and we did put it public, but we tried so hard to get it to help fan the flames so people could see what was going on in the fandom, but it never quite materialized the way we wanted to. But it still doesn't negate from the fact that we did some brilliant research back then, and you exposed a lot of nasty, dodgy stuff that was going on with feminist sites and all. Of course, we got the most controversial one, the feminist front, if you remember that. We exposed them, and we exposed other people in the fandom. Um, but nobody would take us seriously. But everything that we reported on was true. These people really turned the fandom into a toxic toxic cesspool, and we tried to, in the early days, we really did try to get the fandom to see what was going on. But because it was me and you, John, nobody was ever going to listen to us, because obviously me and you, out of most people, have probably had our names dragged through the mud more, in fairness. Even Chris admitted that. But in the end, I probably got more abuse than any other Whovian. It is true. We got that includes you as well, though, Lee. We have all received so much over these last few years. It's unbelievable that we're still going, to be quite honest, and we're still saying, but we fought in what we believed in. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Exactly. Everything that we said was going to happen, John, happened. Everything we said that was going to happen happened. And it's just a pity that people didn't listen to us. I don't care if you hate me because, and I'm talking to the fans out there, I don't care if you hate me because you didn't like my opinions on Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall. But if you had to listen to us in the early days, you could have saved this era of Doctor Who. You really could have. We could have got rid of Chris Chibnall. Okay, Jodie was still a doubt for people, but under a different writer. You never know. You never know. But we did try and warn you all. You wouldn't listen. And we tried to warn you, the channels and the accounts out there that were pushing this narrative. I remember the Feminist Front were actually going around, and they were going around on YouTube and Twitter, and they were screenshotting and putting links up to people's videos that were actually against Jodie Whittaker. And they were sending a mob of hate towards people like us because we didn't want Jodie Whittaker playing the Doctor. Right? But John will tell you this, the Feminist Front no longer exists. They're gone. They're gone. And John did keep on the Feminist Front, I have to say. He kept on them and on them and on them and on them. And then eventually the Feminist Front disappeared. All these feminist accounts, by the way, that are around in the early years are all gone now, by the way, folks. They're gone. And this is when me and John knew that the game was up anyway. The game was up a long time ago. And BBC was always going to change course after this show failed. After Series 11, they knew that they had made a major mistake. That's why Series 11 and 12 are completely different tonally, right? They're completely different when you watch them. Series 11 was something new, completely different. It wasn't like the Doctor Who that we knew. It didn't work. Then Chibs went back to Detroit and tested and started bringing back Daleks and Cybermen. Remember, this was a man that said that he didn't like Cybermen and Daleks. They were overdone and he wasn't going to bring them into his era. But when the shit hit the fan and the era didn't do too well, and then we had Chaos in Cardiff and all of this, and then he was warned that he needed to go back to more traditional Doctor Who. We got Series 12. Right? Yeah, you did. Yes, you did, John. Yes, you did. And Not My Doctor is gone as well. Yeah, there's a lot of accounts. Apparently now, so hold on, I'm at the being sent a message here while we're streaming. So apparently, let's see, someone's at the removing their tweet about me, apparently. So let's see who's removed their tweet about me. See, as I said, I get sent messages, right? I'm not searching for, as I said, you're a loser and a nobody. I don't go looking for your tweets, Mr. TARDIS. Not at all. Because you're just a waste of time, to be quite honest with you. But I wasn't going to have you calling me out after you decided to act a bit of a tick. Hold on, I'm just going to see who's deleted the tweet because I haven't been told who's deleted the tweet. But it'll be interesting. Yeah, of course you're going to delete the tweet, whoever it is. Of course you're going to delete the tweet because as soon as I mentioned the fact that you went and accused someone, I guarantee it's Mr. T. Of course you removed your tweet because you're a coward. Yeah, it is Mr. TARDIS. Of course it is. Of course you removed your tweet, mate. Of course you removed your tweet because you're a coward. You're a coward. You don't even stand by what you say. Right? See, as soon as I bring up Sargon, right, and I bring up the fact that you accuse this man of saying feminists deserve to be raped, right, you shut your mouth. I still have your apology. As I said, mate, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to make sure the fandom know what you said a few years back. Because you're not going to keep coming at me over China when you took that out of context. You did not watch my live stream, because if you had watched it, right, you wouldn't be saying the things that you watched, right? These little muppets out there took took a clip off a 3-hour live stream, right, and took a little snippet out of context, and then you're going around and calling me all of this. As I said, if you went and you said those things about Sargon, how come you're allowed to move on? And what you said was way worse than what I actually said. So if you're able to move on, how come I'm not able to move on? Because I tell you why, Mr. Tard, there's one rule for you and there's another rule for me, isn't there? Isn't there? Well, then that doesn't wash with me, mate. So I'll tell you what, right? The next time you mention my name, yeah, I am going to make sure that apology of yours and all the other information that we have, I'm going to go to the media. I'll go to the media until someone actually has the balls to report on your cowardly behavior. Don't come after me. I told you already, right? That goes for you all, right? Ted, it's only a helicopter. It's grand. We're not being invaded by the Russians. They wouldn't dare. Relax. Relax. We're good. We're good. So he's removed the tweet about me. So there you go. What does that tell you? So he went and accused me of racism and then doesn't stick by it, because I called him out on his hypocrisy when he went and he accused some poor fella of saying something. And by the way, I do have his apology. I've thrown it up on Twitter several times, and I've only recently thrown it back up again to show you, right? So, and as I said, if you Google his name, by the way, there are plenty of old forums and threads that talk about this man. And it's not the first time that this man has actually been called out. He's been called out in the past over the years. And from what I've read in all of these forums, he's not very liked in the community at all. He's not very liked in the community at all. Actually, there's a lot of people that want him gone in the community from the threads that I read, right? A lot of people want him gone in the community. All he is, right? All he does all the time, it doesn't matter what topic is conversation it is, he has to put something up and give his opinion. But then as soon as if someone counteracts his opinion, leaves an opinion, then he'll retweet that person and call them out, call them a racist or a bigot or whatever. Because he thinks he's so right all the time. Right? And by the way, I just want to say something to you, right? Because you made your comments about the LGBTQ and plus and Disney, right? You're a straight man. You're a straight white male. You have no business talking about the LGBTQ plus community and telling them that there is enough representation, right? Now, you may or may not be right. That's not the point. But you're a straight white male. It's none of your fucking business, so keep out of it. Right? Keep out of it. And while I do agree with you that they have made great strides, right? They have made great strides. You are right about that. But there's still plenty of work to do. You're right. There's plenty of work to do. But unfortunately, because of activists like yourself, right? People like me, right? I'm not going to get on board with it because you keep telling us that we're bigots and we're phobes and all of this, right? I watched Queer as Folk, right, when that show was first released. Nobody was banging on. Nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody was banging on that this show was on Channel 4 and it was about gay and lesbian people. Nobody, right? It went on to be one of the most popular shows and a banging soundtrack, 2 seasons. Right, Queer as Folk, written by RTD. Right? Nobody was banging on or giving out or have a problem with lead actors and actresses that were gay and lesbian. Nobody had a problem. Do you know why? Because we didn't have the actors coming out every 5 minutes telling us that they were gay and lesbian, right? They just got on with it, recorded a bloody show, and put the episodes out, and everybody got behind it. Yeah? You have no business to be getting involved in something there's nothing to do with you. You're not part of the LGBTQ plus community, so keep your nose out. Keep your nose out of it. But the fans put you in your place anyway. And then, of course, you took down that tweet, the one that you spoke about, Disney, because after you put that up and you were called out, we were all laughing at you because we thought it was funny that you were getting your comeuppance after all you've done to us. But then as soon as I mentioned again, because you've done it again, and this is the interesting thing, why are you so afraid of people knowing of what you said about Sargon and feminists? Why is it every time when I throw that up there and all of a sudden the tweet disappears, your original tweet disappears? It's like as if you don't want people to find out what you're actually truly all about. Well, I'm not going to stop until people find out who you truly are. And what you truly are is an intolerant, racist little bigot. That's what you are. Right? I haven't watched It's a Sin yet. It's the next one on my program. As I said, I've been, obviously because the RTD era is coming back, I've been watching a lot of RTD related shows. So as I said, I only recently watched Years and Years, and Cheryl then start watching it yesterday. So I've watched it twice in the space of a week. We've got 2 episodes to go. She hasn't seen the last 2 episodes. Obviously, I have. And I have to sit here and not open my mouth, because I've seen it, because she'd kill me if I spoil it. But that show was what blew me away. It absolutely blew me. Emma Thompson, fucking brilliant in it. And Ruth Madeley obviously is in this show, and Ruth is going to be in Doctor Who. Now, I just want to call this out because I have seen some people give out the fact that she's in a wheelchair, and some people have said, she's a diversity hire and all of this, and she's just there to tick boxes. Well, I got to tell you, after watching her in Years and Years, that is far from the truth. Ruth is an absolutely fantastic and amazing actress. And you know what? She was one of my favorite characters in Years and Years. Obviously, if you haven't seen Years and Years, I'll try not to spoil it or whatever. But there was a couple of characters that I liked in it. I liked Germain that was going out with Victor. And then obviously we seen what happened to him. That was very sad. But there was loads of the character development in Years and Years is absolutely brilliant. RTD has not lost his touch. Ivan, his character development has gotten even better, in my opinion. So I've been watching RTD related shows. If you haven't watched Years and Years yet, I do highly recommend it. Go and check it out. It is a whirlwind of a show. I mean, and I just want to say, actually, this show was out in, 2017, 2018 or something. And the things that RTD predicted in that show, now, not exactly the way it happened, but in that show, he talks about Russia and Ukraine at war with each other, right? China doing their... There were so many similarities to what's happening today. I was like... Cheryl was even looking at me when she was watching it. She goes, when was this show made? I said, it was made before any of this ever even happened, like. Brilliant show. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. And as I said, if you haven't checked out Queer as Folk, it was groundbreaking at the time. It was on Channel 4. It's an absolutely fantastic show. And as I said, the soundtrack is absolutely... If you love your music as well, you will love this show. It has banging soundtrack. But again, it's funny how all of these people shout that we're all against LGBTQ plus and all of this when we literally grew up with loads of shows like Queer as Folk growing up when we were growing up. It was nothing new to us. The difference is that you didn't have the actors and actresses in the magazine like going, oh well, I'm a gay or lesbian, and I'm also non-binary, and I identify as this, that, and the other. No, they just got on with it, did their interview, talked about the show, and it became a hit. It's not the same today, right? They don't even talk about shows today. What they talk about is if the character is going to be gender neutral or any of this sort of rubbish, right? Rather than just focus on character development. And this is why we have a problem with it. Because it's not done sincerely. It's not done fair. When they did shows back in the day that were highlighting the gay and lesbian community, right? They were done properly. They were done properly. Okay? They're not done properly now. They don't care about character development. All the actors and actresses that star in shows now are political tools, right? They're propaganda pieces in a big, huge jigsaw. There is no character development. There is no proper story. It's all about the agenda. Agenda does come first. It does, and that's why we have a problem. If the story came first, see, this is the problem. People think that we have a problem with politics and we have a problem with all of the social issues that are going on in society in our TV shows, right? We don't, because they used to do it back in the day when we were growing up. And anybody that denies that is living in cuckoo land, because that's exactly what they have done over the years. But it was done properly. Character development and story were always the forefront. And just to let you know, It's a Sin, you've got a same-sex couple in the show. Actually, you've got two same-sex couples in the show. You've got the sister, what's her name? Evie, is it? Yeah, I think that was her name, Evie. And she hooks up with your one across the road from Danny's house. Then you got Danny and his husband. Then obviously he divorces his husband and then ends up with Victor, right? Wasn't complaining or moaning about that. Oh no, they were great. They were great. Again, there's a difference, when Chibs did the same-sex couple, right, it was agenda. When RTD does there's character development and there's a good story behind it. This is why I do not have any issue. After watching It's a Sin as well, years and years, I have to bleed and say, people were quite worried about RTD because it was done by HBO Max and stuff like that. And that's obviously the period when he was in America. I don't see any issue with his writing. I thought it was very good. It was a kind of like, what if this, that, and the other happened? Which way would society go? I thought it was a very clever show. You get the collapse of the banks, collapse of society, and then you see a tyrannical government in play. Emma Thompson's government being dodgy, and oh man, it was bloody enthralling, and that's the type of writing I like. But the characters are fleshed out and the story is fleshed out. Never happened in Doctor Who under Chris Chibnall. So no, I'm not against LGBTQ+, right? No, I am not a racist, right? And I'm not any of the other stuff that you call me. All I want and all I've ever wanted, like everybody in the chat, is for all of these people that they want to represent, it's done properly and they're represented properly. And it's not done just to tick boxes and to show the world that you're so diverse and all of this crap and inclusive, right? None of that matters if you don't have good character development and a good story. Simple as that, right? And if you don't have them, then you're going to have fans like me over these past 5 years and YouTubers out there complaining about it. And that's exactly what we'll continue to do until it's done properly, right? And of course, I do believe that RTD will deliver, especially after seeing years and years. And I will watch It's a Sin. I've kind of held back on It's a Sin because Cheryl says it really is you get the tissues ready. And I'm a sucker for shows like that, have to be honest. And I don't cope well with shows like that that are sad. So I know it's going to take a lot out of me. So that's why I haven't watched it yet, but I will be watching it soon because, as I said, I've been watching all of RTD stuff lately just to get back into the buzz of him and to understand his writing. And again, I'll watch Doctor Who again, his era again as well. Again, remember, he writes shows like It's a Sin and Years. It's not going to be like Doctor Who. You know, those shows were specifically designed and written a certain way. You know what I mean? He knows the way Doctor Who needs to be written. And if he does add any social or political commentary, it will be done properly, folks, because the characters will be developed and the story will be developed. And that's the difference. That's the difference. Anyway, enough of all of that nonsense now. But all I just want to say is this, you know, to the people out there that are continuously dragging my name into stuff, give it over. Do your own thing. Leave me alone. I don't care what you think of me. If you think I am a bigot, racist, homophobe, white supremacist, you can have that opinion all you want, but keep it to your fucking self, all right? Because everybody else is actually sick and tired of you slagging me off. You don't have a leg to stand on, actually. You don't have a leg to stand on. You've never had and you never will. So leave it out, okay? And as for the coward who deleted his tweet, you can delete tweets all you want, mate. I've got the screenshot. So, you know, again, kind of silly boy you are. And that goes for the other silly Billy out there as well. You keep your mouth shut about fans, right? I know you're still crying because Jodie Whittaker wasn't popular and Chris Chibnall wasn't popular, but that's not their fault. Blame the BBC and blame Chris Chibnall. Don't be blaming fans. This is my issue, right? Instead of blaming fans for the failure of the show, you should be actually setting your sights on the person who's actually responsible. But you won't. The person that's responsible is Chris Chibnall. But it's easier for you to attack people like me and say it's me to keep this narrative up that the show was successful. It wasn't. It failed. It had 13 million viewers for the first episode, and we ended up with 2 million by the time it ended. And that's not consolidated, by the way. That's live. Okay? Just want to make that clear that that's live, not consolidated. Right? The consolidated figures don't even do it that much justice either. But over 10, 11 million people tuned out of Doctor Who. Don't be blaming us, okay? Blame Chris Chibnall. He's responsible. He didn't do his job properly. And because he didn't do his job properly, then it gave people like me the ammunition to come out and criticize him. So you're barking up the wrong tree there, silly Billy, okay? Go and actually complain to the person that actually is responsible for the failure of the era and leave my name out of your dirty little mouth, okay? And next time, by the way, as well, next time I see if I put any information up on Doctor Who and I see that it's on your channel, I will be reporting you for stealing my information because I'm not going to be having that anymore. The cheeky you to call us out and hope that RTD screws fans over because you didn't like a certain people in this fandom having the courage to speak up against this era. And as for the ones that sat on the fence, like Mr. TARDIS, again, how dare you try call people out like me that have watched the whole era and have justifiably given it the response and the arguments and the opinions that we did. Chris Chibnall failed the fandom and he failed Doctor Who. So you can all cry now into our bloody cornflakes, yeah, and keep crying. Because as I said, you keep this up, I'm going to keep calling you out. It's as simple as that. Just keep my name out of your mouths. Simple as that. Right? And again, Mr. TARDIS, if you have a problem with Big Finish, fine. Right? We get it now. Shut your mouth. All right? Okay? You sat on the fence when this show was destroyed. Right? You've even actually admitted that you didn't really like this era, but you stood by and you watched it be destroyed. You're worse, actually. Fans like you, and even these new YouTubers that have come back all of a sudden after 5 years, you're just as bad as the stands, because yous all sat by and watched this show being destroyed rather than say because you didn't want to get any backlash. But you got a backlash a couple of days ago, or a week ago, didn't you, when you start talking about the LGBTQ plus community? And that's why you never opened your mouth, because you knew that that's exactly what would happen to you for the last 5 years, exactly what happened to me. So you're a coward, and you'll always be a coward, and the rest of you are all cowards, right? Anyway, I'm back tonight for the Tartar Zone. Sorry, I'm not back tonight with the Tartar Zone talks. I'm back tonight with Friday Night Contact. So we'll be back in 4 hours, because it's coming up to 5 o'clock now. We'll be back in 4 hours, and as I said, we've got plenty to talk about. Alec Baldwin, DC. There's been an update. Obviously, there again, a fan page out there claiming that Superman was cast, and James Gunn has dismissed the casting. We've got that, and we've got other stuff to talk about. Chris also watched Halloween Ends. So we might get a review off him for that, because he did write up that it wasn't as bad as he thought it was going to be. So it'll be interesting to see what Chris has to say about Halloween Ends. So we've got plenty of stuff coming up tonight. 9 o'clock on the Tartar Zone, Friday Night Contact, myself, Lee, and Chris. And hopefully, maybe, I don't know if he's actually agreed, but maybe later on we might have an extra special guest. Hopefully, maybe John the White might pop in if he's not busy. And we will be talking all of that stuff. So come and join us for that, folks, because it's going to be a good one. When me, Chris, and Lee get together, it's going to be fun. And I have to say, as I said, I'm really enjoying these streams with the lads. So come and join us. Obviously, we're on at 9 o'clock tonight. If you aren't watching other channels out there, of course, come and join us. We really will appreciate the support, and I look forward to it quite a lot. And as usual, Lee has me back on Twitter, because he's just such a lovely guy. I mean, I love that guy like a brother. But he's there defending me on her, as he always has, because he was there that day, that stream, when we were speaking about China, right? And Lee knows, and most of you do know, that was all taken out of context, and this is what they've tried to hit me with for the last 5 years. Now, it hasn't really worked for them, but it's not going to stop them from keep repeating the same thing over and over again, that Noel is racist. I'm not racist. Actually, I'm the least racist person. My wife is an American, right? And I mean, my family is so diverse, because we're Irish, we've got English in our family, we've got Brazilian in our family, we've got American in our family. We're probably one of the most diverse bleeding families out there. Okay, I am not, and never have been, a racist. And the rant that I had about China wasn't a racist rant, by the way. As I said, it was taken out of context. I was very upset that China had put the world in this situation because of what happened with the pandemic. And again, the stuff that I said on that stream turned out to be true anyway, because I was one of the first ones again that was saying that it was their fault, and everybody was saying, no, it wasn't China, but now we do know it was China. So you can call me all the things you want, and you can take a video out of context. Bottom line is I was right. Okay? Simple as that. Yeah, mate, just as I said, when we start at 9, if you're free, just let me know in the chat. Or if you come in here, and if you're in the chat, I'll send you the link then if you're willing to come on. So yeah, just keep in touch, and once we start, then if you want to come on, you're more than welcome to do so. So yeah, we'll leave it there for now, folks. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Again, as I said, this year I said I wasn't going to be tolerating any of this nonsense anymore, because we're not going to have the same another 5 years of the same crap, having all of this stuff thrown at us because they don't agree with our opinions. I'm not going to tolerate it. I'm not going to tolerate it from the media either. That's why we did our stream on the toxic media, where I showed you all the headlines over the last 5 years, and some of it is actually disgusting. So, as I said, we're not going to stand by and allow this to continue to happen. It's about time, and this is a call to other YouTubers out there as well, and people that I know. If you could also highlight this sort of stuff that's going on in the fandom and talk about how toxic the media are and how they have helped create this fandom, I would really appreciate it. I think the more YouTubers out there are talking about this, the better. We've got to put these people finally in their place. They cannot be going around and accusing fans of being right-wing extremists because they don't agree with our opinion. And I've seen it in everyday life as well, right? The newspapers report on it. Someone has a problem with refugees. Oh, you're right-wing. Someone has a problem with the climate or the climate change thing, and they believe it's, you're right-wing extremists, right? Everybody seems to be right-wing extremists if you're not on board with everybody else. You're not right-wing extremists, by the way, just to let you know. All these are people with opinions, but because the left can't take opinions from other people, you're all right-wing. Why not? Simple as that. Fucking sick and tired of all of these bleeding idiots calling people, and the media as well are discussing right-wing this, right-wing that. Go and shut up, you bunch of propaganda fucking tools. That's all you are, right? And shut your mouth, right? If you aren't going to report on the facts and report on what's really going on in society and in fandom and in the world, well then shut up. Nobody wants to listen to you anymore. And as Peter said, no retreat, no surrender. Absolutely. Go nowhere. These people want to call me out, then delete their tweets because they're cowards. Fair enough. Let them. Next time my name comes out of their mouth, I'll be calling them out again. So my advice to all you people out there, don't even try it, right? Because I've had a bit of a year or two break now where I haven't had to deal with this, and I'm fresh and ready to go. So if you want to bring it on, because this time I'll be even more relentless than I was the last time. And you think he's got the better of me and take me down, he's got another thing coming, right? I am going nowhere. I'm going nowhere. And you call me out at your own risk. Simple as that. I'm done with yours. And as for that coward, unblock me so we can have a chat. If not, keep my name out of your mouth from now on. And by the way, just to let you know, I wouldn't go and seek out your tweets because you're nobody, okay? And here's another thing as well. The only reason why you're still getting views on your channel is because you've decided to do hit pieces on people. It's actually quite funny that you come out and you start criticizing other people. Yeah, you've done hit pieces on me and several other YouTubers out there without actual proof, but you've been going around calling people white supremacists. But you haven't actually proven or shown the white supremacy. Maybe take a long, hard look at yourself. Projection. It's all we see in this fandom. Anyway, until later on, have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. I'm going to have something to eat now, and we'll probably watch the last 2 episodes of It's Years and Years, and then I will be on later on for Friday Night Contact. I will throw the stream up in the next hour. So, I'll see you then. Have a good one. Run fast, laugh hard, and be kind. That's it. Millions of madness. The review, that big audio finish. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and I do agree with your point, Daniel, when you were saying, that you reviewed them and all this. But what I was thinking was, the reason why I said that to Big Finish was because I was thinking, well, if they were to send them to me, maybe I'd become a fan of Big Finish if you are willing to send them to me and let me see what I like, and I could review them. That was me That was me reasoning behind it, because I don't want Big Finish to feel like that, you know, that people don't want to buy. There's a certain look, you see it. There's a few of them in that thread calling your writer a homophobe and a bigot and transphobe and all of this other rubbish. But it's not going to stop Big Finish from releasing the audio. But I would say to Big Finish, it is a bit hypocritical. I mean, you've banned John Barrowman's audio, and, you know, as I said before, you already knew about his behaviour because he was working on Big Finish fights for a long time after that. But then as soon as a small minority in the fandom gave out, he has pulled his audio, his latest release that was going to come out. So I think that is a bit hypocritical as well, Big Finish. And I think you need to actually, you know, reinstate that audio as well to show consistency and to show the fans in this fandom that you're not going to pander to this fandom anymore. Because as I've said, and Lee agreed, if Big Finish do end up pulling these audios, I am going to call on every single YouTuber and every single fan to boycott Big Finish until they reinstate or reverse their decision. If they do end up taking it down, we will be calling for a full boycott of Big Finish. So if Big Finish want to play that game, that's fine. They can play that game, but just know there will be consequences. That audio better be released, and I will say it's about time that you reinstate John Barrowman's audios too. If not, as I said, if you do pander to this lot, well, fans are going to retaliate, and we will be calling for a full boycott of Big Finish. And Big Finish, just to let you know, you can't afford a boycott. So do the right thing, right? Stay the course and don't listen to these fans, because they're not fans. They never were. They don't care about the brand like we do. And as I said, if you want to send those audios my way, please do, because I will review them and maybe I will become a Big Finish fan. If not, if you don't want to send me the audios, I would suggest Scottish Stavros Wrestles with Pop Culture. And Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture. Great channel, has actually reviewed some fan audios from Beware, and have also done some Big Finish audios as well. Done a lot of Big Finish audios. So if you're looking for a channel to actually give an honest review, Scottish Stavros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture Big Finish is the channel I would recommend. And if there's actually, do you know what you could do, people that are in that thread? Why don't you all go into that thread now and suggest Scottish Stavros and Friends Wrestle with Pop Culture as the channel to review those Big Finish audios? Because Daniel does a very good job. So we leave it there. We'll leave it there. So I'll talk to you later. Have a good one, folks. Listen, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I'm pretty sure I'll go onto Twitter now, and it's going to be absolutely funny. So we'll see what's going on Twitter, and if there's any updates, I'll let you know anyway later on tonight. So have a good one. I'll see you soon, folks. Don't forget to tune in 9 o'clock for Friday night. Contact me, Chris, and Lee will be here, and hopefully we'll be joined by special guest John the White, if he's not streaming, because he's a very busy man now at the moment. But if he's able to come in, we will bring John on as well. So we'll see you all later. Have a good one. Thanks for watching this stream, and we will see you soon. Bye. Thank you.